What's going on, Facebook? How you all doing? It is your boy Sean Lee from Detroit, Michigan. I am the MAPP CEO and president and founder of the Rock That Photography Conference and Trade Show. Listen, I'm here in New Orleans and I just shot my very first second line. But I got a guy here who is famous in New Orleans. He wouldn't tell you that, but I'm going to tell you that. He's famous in New Orleans. He has been photographing the culture. He calls it the African retentive culture here in New Orleans for over 40 years, right? And he has an exhibit here at the Franklin, what is it called?
New Orleans Jazz Museum.
The New Orleans Jazz Museum at the U.S. Mint in New Orleans, right? And so this dude is amazing, right? And he looked like he about 27 years old, right? I'm gonna tell you that right now. That's how he looks. But this is what's important, right? We are on tour. He said 27 in reverse, 72, right? But how old are you for real? 72. He's 72 years old. He looked like, for real, he about 27, right? And so listen, I want to set this up because this is extremely important. And so we are on the Rock That Photography Tour that is sponsored by Miller's Lab, by 17 Hats, and by Fundy Software. And the whole purpose of this tour is to go into southern cities and introduce professionalism in photography to different nationalities and cultures, right, of people, right? There are folk who have been photographing for years, right, that haven't been introduced to our industry and introduced to professionalism and covering and all of that stuff. And this is the work that we are doing, right? And so it is an honor for me to be in New Orleans and to have a chance, right? This is just like by chance. I'm riding with Renard, and Renard know everybody in the city, right? And so Renard know everybody in the city, and so he calls Eric Waters. Eric Waters like, hey, come on down, let's kick it. I'm like, what? Money rock that. So listen, I'm gonna turn this around, and I'm gonna put the camera, boom, there he is. That's Mr. Eric Waters, right? And so, and here is where he is, the New Orleans music and culture, right? And 50 years of it, and he has two exhibits. Actually, he has two exhibits, and he's exhibiting in the Relics Celebrates, right? And so he has a couple of photos in there, but he has been photographing the culture for over 40 years. Guess what? We want him at the Rock That Tour Tuesday, all right? So make him feel good, money, rock that. I'm going to turn this back around, and then me and him is going to talk. We're going to kick it, right? Rock that. And as you can see, don't he look like he's about 27? Y'all ain't ready for that. Yeah, right. Rock that. Rock that. And so look, man. I know you behind me and all of that stuff, and we kind of talking and kicking it. I just wanted people to see you next to me, so we had proof that I met you.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Right? Rock that. And so for everybody out there who is aspiring, right, and doing stuff, and we're going to show you some of his stuff in a minute. Mr. Waters, if you can, just tell them how long you've been photographing. Tell them what your favorite camera body is, right? Like to use, okay, right? And then tell them probably what your most significant print or photograph you've taken to date is.
Oh, you set me up for to date. I was going to say my next photo has been the most prominent one I showed.
Yeah, buddy. Y'all all hit us with all of that, man.
I guess the one I showed you with Black Mexican Indian Darryl Montana in the purple suit.
Okay, yes, that is an amazing one. And what I'm going to do, you guys, I'm gonna have him explain it a little bit. But what I'm going to do is I took a photo of it, not the greatest photo. I took a phone photo of it. I would like to post that, tag Eric in it, just so you guys see that photo. It is an amazing photograph here at the Mint. For those of you all who are in New Orleans here, you got to get here. Right, you got to get to the Mint. You got to look at this work. He has two rooms. As soon as you walk in, money, the hottest stuff on the planet. Go in, check out the work. It is a beautiful photograph of a gentleman in his garb. And explain that to us just a little bit, Eric.
Well, he's a Black Mexican Indian, and it has a storied history behind it. I'm not going to go into the story, but it's very revealing. And the reason the picture is profound to me is because rarely do these guys give you the honor of photographing them outside of the different events that they participate in, like Mardi Gras, St. Joseph's Night, Jazz and Heritage Foundation. And he was kind enough to allow me to take a photo of him in his suit in front of this destroyed background, which was destroyed by the Levees breach in New Orleans. People need to understand that New Orleans was destroyed by the Levees breach, by corruption, and not Katrina. Katrina destroyed New Orleans. Our destruction is man-made. The coast of Mississippi and Alabama was an act of God. New Orleans was an act of man. Having said that, he allowed me to photograph him, and I'm very proud of that and very humbled by that.
And that is, tell us again, at the New Orleans Jazz Museum at the Mint.
At 400 Esplanade Avenue.
Very cool, man. Right. Rock that. All right, so tell us, what kind of, and I know this is a super general question, man. I mean, so, but people want to know, so what camera do you shoot with? What's your gear of choice?
Nikon.
Oh, you know.
Dag in your heart.
I still love you, Eric Waters. I still love you, man. You know what I
mean? Yeah, Nikon for, I'm sure, many of the 40 years. Nikon. Yeah, dedicated Nikon user.
Man, that's all right. I'm going to tell you, there's going to be some folk in my group right now that are going to give me the business because of that, right? Rock that. That's all right. That's all right. And now I'm going to ask you, for you, as far as significance, right? What has been, because people may want to look it up, they may want to go see it, they may want to Google it, they may want to Google you. What has been, say, the most significant piece of work to you that you have done up to this date?
Well, being allowed to be an observer of the culture here in New Orleans, which is unique unto the country. There's nothing like it in the country. You'd have to go to another continent or another country to even come close to having a culture like New Orleans to be observed. And I've been fortunate enough to have been capturing it for almost 40 years or more. So I feel blessed to have done that. In terms of what I've been allowed to do, I was mentioning Darryl Montana,
yes,
the Masking Indian. That was one of my profound moments. The other was Dr. Michael White had a collection of destroyed clarinets. I think Sean saw those. And he asked me to photograph his loss. And having someone ask you to photograph their loss is very intimidating. And I didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I came up with a metaphor. Death and dying in New Orleans, post-Levees breach, a.k.a. Katrina.
Wow.
And he had a collection of over 80 clarinets that were destroyed. And he asked me to photograph them. And I did some still life using available light. So they're very saturated in color, and I tried to bring out the beauty and destruction as best I could.
Man, that's so rich. That's good. That was good. Now we asked him to pick something out of his 40 years of photographing, and that was it. Now, is there a particular place where that can be found? Is that in your book? Or can somebody search it?
The book is on the history of associated pleasure clubs by myself and Karen Celestin.
Okay.
And that chronicles the second line, which is an African retentive culture here in New Orleans. The other works I have are in exhibits. That being the Masking Indians, the clarinets, and my website. A lot of this is on my website.
It's on your website. Right. All right. And what is your website, good sir?
Eric Waters Photography 504.com.
Eric Waters Photography 504.com. Now, Eric, you got, man, a book. And I'm going to show everybody that book now, and it's called Freedom's Dance. Social Aid and Pleasure Clubs in New Orleans, right? By Eric Waters. Let me move your fingers out the way so they can see, right? Photographs by Eric Waters, narrative by Karen Celestin, right? Celestine. All right. And so check it out. This book, that's amazing. And this is chronicling you photographing the second line, right? And the culture in the second line, right? And so this book can be found where? Turn it around so people can see it. Somebody might be screenshotting this right now.
Here in New Orleans is the Community Book Center.
Community Book Center.
Road. Nationally, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon.
So you can go to Amazon.com and look for Freedom's Dance by Eric Waters. You can also go to Barnes & Noble. So they can drive to a Barnes & Noble bookstore, and they can look for Freedom's Dance. Do you know what section they can find this in?
Probably New Orleans culture.
Probably New Orleans culture.
Or photography.
Or photography. Duh. Listen, go to photography section. Go to Go to the photography section in Barnes & Noble and look for Freedom's Dance. Like, yeah, okay, Sean, rock that, right? And so listen, and for all my New Orleans folk and folk that are nearby and close, right, we are hoping to have Mr. Eric Waters at the Rock That Tour Tuesday at GNO Inc. If you go to rockthattour.com, you will see all of the details there. We're hoping to have him there just to visit, right, and just to have him in the presence of us. I think that he is a gem and a jewel, right, and I don't think we find these and acknowledge them enough, and so that is what we want to do. And so I'm gonna tell you, Mr. Eric Waters, I thank you, man. Thank you for the journey that you have that you've traveled, and thank you for being where you are right now and doing the work that you've done. And whether you know it or not, you've paved the way for so many people to do this and to continue going. And so I'm gonna ask you this, right?
Thank
Money.
you, Sean.
You're welcome, man. No. And so I think it's important. We got people like Audrey Woolard, and we got people like Terry White, and we got people like Terrell Lloyd and Matthew Jordan Smith. And I don't know if you know, like Audrey Woolard, but she goes literally through hell as a black woman in photography, speaking at the highest level, right? And so we need to acknowledge those who stand in the gap in spite of the stuff that they go through, not knowing who they may inspire. You know what I mean? And so thank you for doing what you do, even if it seems sometimes that people don't see it, right? I can tell you that a lot of folk look at what you do, they see what you do, but people aren't vocal. They won't say thank you, right? You know what I mean? They'll just take your example and they'll go on about their business and do the work. But I want to take this opportunity to say thank you, right? And that is what this tour is about. It's about showing people of color, other photographers of color who are doing it, who are successful at it, who have longevity in doing it. And sir, you certainly represent that, right?
Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Rock that. No, don't make a dark skinned man blush, Money. Rock that. So here's the last question, y'all. Money, here's the last question. Y'all ain't ready for this. All right, so Mr. Eric Waters, you've been in the game over 40 years. You have seen it all. You have done it all. You've probably been to every economic height and low that there is, right? And having done that, we got another generation of photographers, right? New people coming in. There are old folk that are just starting, right? And we still calling them new. And they still need to be covered, and they still need to be inspired. And so I'm gonna ask you this, and I know it's a hard question having over 40 years in the game, right? What is the one thing, right? What's the one piece of advice that Eric Waters would give to an upstart, new and coming, maybe even seasoned, right, but just needs to be encouraged? What is that one piece of advice that you would give, Mr. Waters?
Learn your craft, learn the fundamentals of your craft, and have passion for what you're doing.
Rock that, Money. Oh, that's the hot money, y'all. Man, y'all not even ready. Rock that. And we got ladies passing us up. Thank you, ladies. Rock that. Listen, let me tell you all something. Share this out. Share this out like crazy. All right? I need y'all to share like mad. People need to see this. One more time, Mr. Waters, where can we find your stuff? We know we got the book. It's called Freedom's Dance. We can find it in New Orleans at what bookstore?
Community Book Center on Bayou Road.
Community Book Center on Bayou Road. People can go to Amazon.com and look for and search Freedom's Dance and find it and buy it there. With here at the Bayou Road, you can autograph the book, right? Go to also Barnes & Noble in the photography section. You can find this book. Your website, once again, is what?
Eric Waters Photography 504.com.
Eric Waters Photography.
And there's another exhibit I have here in the city too.
There's another exhibit. Tell them about
Ace Hotel on Rondelet.
Case Hotel.
Ace
Hotel.
Yeah.
And what is it called?
It's called Then and Now. It's myself and Norman Smith. It's his photographs from New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival then, and mine now.
Very cool.
It's at the Ace Hotel.
At the Ace Hotel. And people here in New Orleans know where that is, and they know how to find that, right? So do that search. Mr. Waters, thank you very much, man. I certainly appreciate you. Thank you for the work that you do, and we hope to see you Tuesday. Listen, y'all, money, hottest stuff on the planet. Y'all ain't even ready, yo, right? rockthattour.com, right? Use the code ROCKTHAT30. It'll give you $30 off. Hopefully we see Mr. Waters there. We are going to engage him more. Why? Because it is. Listen, it's these folk that have paved the way for us to be able to do what we do. And so y'all gonna see more of them. Right now, check this out. Next year, check out what we got planned, right? And I've got with the Binkies, and we talking about it. So listen to me. We talking about it. We talking about doing something, an event called Old School versus New School. Y'all ain't ready for that. We talking about doing an event in photography called Old School versus New School. Money, we talking about going deep, right? We talking about using themes like, you know, like Star Wars or like Yoda, you know what I mean? And Obi-Wan Kenobi, right? And then the rest of us will be the young Jedi Knights. We talking about doing sports themes with like jerseys, right? Stuff like that. Money. Y'all ain't ready for that. Y'all ain't ready for that. Get ready, all right? Listen, rock that tour. The conference is in July. July 25th through the 27th, we have some of the best talent on the globe, the highest diverse level of talent on the globe, right? Coming to Detroit on July 25th through 27th. Go to rockthatconference.com. $149, you guys. You cannot beat that with a stick, right? Get you 3 days of intense instruction, opening receptions, closing parties, banquets, the whole nine, right? Live demos, motor coaches to downtown Detroit, photo walks, everything, right? The most intense education that you will get at the lowest price point that you will see in the industry. Yo, rock that. Mr. Eric Waters, thank you very much. Good, sir.
Thank you, Sean. Appreciate it.
Money, and we out, y'all. Peace.
Thanks, man.
Thank you, sir.